Have you ever wondered if your body has been trying to warn you, long before you ever feel sick? What if I told you that one simple number, a number most people never even check, completely changed the way I looked at my health? Mine did. The day I looked at my resting heart rate, I was shocked. It was over 90 beats per minute, not while I was exercising, not after running, while I was doing absolutely nothing. That moment completely changed my priorities. I stopped chasing muscles. I stopped worrying about how I looked, and I started asking a different question. How healthy is my heart? Today I'm going to tell you my personal story, how I lowered my resting heart rate from 91 all the way down to 61, how incredibly difficult it was, what I learned, and why I believe every single person watching this should start paying attention to their heart before it's too late. So, let's begin. Before I tell you my story, let's first understand, what exactly is a resting heart rate? Your resting heart rate, often abbreviated as RHR, is simply the number of times your heart beats every minute while your body is completely at rest. Usually, the best time to measure it is first thing in the morning, right after you wake up, before you've had coffee, before you've walked around, before stress, movement, or food can influence it. Think of your heart like an engine. The stronger and more efficient that engine becomes, the fewer times it needs to work to pump the same amount of blood throughout your body. That's why, in many healthy adults, a lower resting heart rate often reflects a more efficient cardiovascular system. Your heart pumps more blood with each beat, which means it doesn't have to beat as often. This is known as stroke volume. Stroke volume is simply the amount of blood your heart pumps with every contraction. The stronger your heart becomes, the greater the amount of blood it pumps with each beat. So instead of beating faster, it becomes more efficient. Now, it's important to understand, there isn't one perfect resting heart rate for everyone. Age, genetics, fitness level, stress, sleep, hydration, nutrition, illness, medication, alcohol, caffeine, even emotional stress can all affect your resting heart rate. For most healthy adults, a resting heart rate between about 60 and 100 beats per minute is generally considered within the normal range. People who have trained consistently for years, especially endurance athletes, can naturally have resting heart rates in the 40s or even lower. That doesn't automatically mean lower is always healthier, and it certainly doesn't mean everyone should chase those numbers. Your goal should never be to compare yourself with someone else's body. Your goal should be to improve compared to where you started. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is believing lifting weights alone is enough. Strength training is amazing. It builds muscle, improves bone density, boosts metabolism, makes you stronger. But your cardiovascular system also needs training. Your heart is a muscle, and just like every other muscle, it adapts to the stress you place on it. When you consistently perform cardio, whether that's walking, running, cycling, swimming, rowing, or interval training, several amazing adaptations begin happening inside your body. Your heart muscle becomes stronger. Your left ventricle, the heart's main pumping chamber, can pump more blood with every beat. Your stroke volume increases. Your body develops more capillaries, helping deliver oxygen more efficiently. Your lungs become better at exchanging oxygen. Your mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses inside your cells, increase in both number and efficiency, meaning your body becomes better at producing energy. Your nervous system also changes. The parasympathetic nervous system, often called your rest and recover system, becomes more active, which helps your heart slow down naturally while resting. Little by little, your entire cardiovascular system becomes more efficient. That's why activities that once felt impossible eventually become normal. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes weeks, months, sometimes years. Consistency always beats intensity. Progress inside your body always happens before you can see it. One thing I also want to make clear, a higher resting heart rate doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. It can temporarily increase because of stress, poor sleep, illness, anxiety, dehydration, too much caffeine, alcohol, certain medications, or simply because your body is under physical strain. But if your resting heart rate stays unusually high for a long period, or changes dramatically without explanation, it's always worth speaking with a healthcare professional. For me, that number wasn't a diagnosis. It was simply a wake-up call. It forced me to ask one simple question: am I actually taking care of my heart? That one question changed everything. And that's where my story really begins. For a long time, I thought I had a pretty active lifestyle. I wasn't completely sedentary. I moved around. I stretched. I occasionally did some cardio. I lifted weights every now and then. From the outside, everything looked perfectly fine. But deep inside, something didn't feel right. I constantly felt lethargic, low on energy. Even after getting enough sleep, I never truly felt refreshed. Simple tasks felt harder than they should. I couldn't explain why. At first, I ignored it. I thought maybe I was just tired. Maybe I wasn't sleeping enough. Maybe life was simply stressful. But that feeling never went away. One day, I finally told myself, enough. No excuses, no waiting for motivation, no perfect Monday. Just give yourself 45 minutes. 45 minutes for yourself. That's all. So, I went to the gym. The interesting part was, lifting weights actually felt okay. I could handle that. Nothing unusual. But then, I stepped onto the treadmill, and everything changed. Within just a few minutes, my breathing became heavy. My heart started pounding. Even 10 minutes felt like I had been working the entire day. And by the way, the treadmill wasn't even at some crazy speed. It was only a moderate pace. That's what confused me the most. Why was my body struggling so much? Why couldn't I run? Why did 10 minutes feel impossible? I genuinely started questioning myself. Was I really as healthy as I thought I was? Or had I been ignoring the signs my body was giving me all along? That question stayed in my head. Then, almost by coincidence, I decided to buy a fitness tracker. I've been wearing the fitness band called Whoop, mainly to track my heart rate and recovery. Honestly, I didn't expect much from it. I just thought it would be interesting to see some data. But one morning, I opened the app, looked at my resting heart rate, and I froze. 91, sometimes even higher. I actually looked at it twice because I thought it had to be wrong. 91 beats per minute, while resting. That number honestly shocked me. Not because someone else told me it was bad, but because I knew, deep down, something wasn't right. It felt like my own body was telling me, you need to change. That was the exact moment. Everything shifted. I stopped caring about lifting heavier weights. I stopped chasing aesthetics. Instead, I became obsessed with improving my cardiovascular health. Because I realized something. You can have muscles. You can look fit. You can lift heavy. But if your heart isn't healthy, none of that really matters. So I made a promise to myself. Cardio would become one of my biggest priorities. Not because I loved it. Trust me, I absolutely hated it. Every time I saw the treadmill, part of me wanted to walk away. Some days, I did steady-state cardio. Other days, I mixed incline walking with sprint intervals. I wanted to build endurance, improve my cardiovascular fitness, and at the same time, reduce unnecessary stress on my knees by mixing different styles of training. Every workout challenged me, mentally, physically, emotionally. There were days when I wanted to quit after 5 minutes. Days where every second on that treadmill felt like forever. Days where my lungs burned, my legs burned, my chest felt like it was on fire. I remember looking at the timer, thinking, there's no way it's only been 6 minutes. It honestly felt like an hour. But every single workout, I reminded myself of one thing. Your heart is a muscle, and just like every other muscle, it adapts. Not instantly, not magically, but consistently. At first, even jogging felt difficult. Then, a few weeks later, it became slightly easier. Then I could run a little longer, then a little faster. Then I recovered quicker, and before I even realized it, my breathing started changing. Instead of immediately gasping through my mouth, I naturally found myself breathing longer and deeper, more through my nose, less through my mouth. That was one of the first real signs that my body was adapting. I wasn't just getting mentally tougher. My heart, my lungs, and my entire cardiovascular system were becoming stronger. Slowly, everything started improving. Walking upstairs became easier. Daily activities became easier. I wasn't constantly exhausted anymore. I had more energy throughout the day. I slept better, recovered faster. Even mentally, I felt sharper. The biggest lesson I learned was that cardio doesn't just change your body, it changes your entire life. During my hardest cardio sessions, the highest heart rate I ever pushed myself to, was around 178 beats per minute. Those sessions were brutal, absolutely brutal. There were moments where every part of me wanted to stop. But I also learned something. Growth rarely happens inside your comfort zone. Your body adapts. Only when you consistently challenge it. Not recklessly, not by destroying yourself every day, but by gradually pushing your limits, again and again and again. Recovery became just as important as training. I paid more attention to my sleep, my hydration, my nutrition, managing stress, because I realized you don't become healthier only while you're exercising. Your body actually becomes stronger when it recovers. And I started respecting recovery just as much as I respected training. People often ask me, how long did this transformation take? The answer is simple, about 8 to 9 months. 8 to 9 months of consistency, 8 to 9 months of showing up. Even on the days I didn't feel motivated, even when I wanted to stay home, even when I questioned whether anything was changing. Because here's something that nobody talks about. Most progress is invisible. Your heart becomes stronger long before your eyes notice anything. Your endurance improves long before you realize it. Your health improves long before the mirror reflects it. That's why so many people quit, because they expect visible results immediately. But the biggest changes always happen inside first. And thankfully, I didn't quit. And thankfully, I didn't quit. One morning, just like every other morning, I opened my Whoop app. I looked at my resting heart rate, and for a second, I honestly thought it was a mistake. 61. I blinked. I checked again. Still, 61. I just sat there, looking at the screen, thinking about where I had started. From 91 to 61. 30 beats per minute lower. That wasn't just a number anymore. That represented hundreds of workouts, hundreds of difficult mornings, hundreds of moments where I wanted to quit, hundreds of decisions to choose discipline instead of comfort. It reminded me that the body is capable of incredible change if you're patient enough to let it adapt. And honestly, I'm still not finished. My next goal is around 55. Not because I'm obsessed with numbers, not because I want to compete with anyone, but because I genuinely enjoy becoming healthier. I've realized something throughout this journey. Fitness isn't about looking healthy, it's about becoming healthy. A lot of people chase six-pack abs, big arms, a bigger chest, a better physique, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But don't forget about the one muscle that has been working for you every second of your life, your heart. It has never asked for a day off. It has never complained. It has quietly kept you alive through every happy moment, every difficult moment, every success, every failure. The least we can do is take care of it. Looking back, this entire journey wasn't really about lowering my resting heart rate. It was about changing the way I live, changing the way I think, changing the promises I make to myself. It all started with one decision. One day, when I felt tired, lethargic, low on energy, I almost stayed home. I almost told myself, I'll start tomorrow. I'll go next week. I'm too tired today. But somehow, I convinced myself to give just 45 minutes to myself. 45 minutes. That's all it took to begin. Looking back now, that may have been one of the best decisions I've ever made, because those 45 minutes turned into another 45 minutes, then another, then another. Those workouts became weeks, those weeks became months, and those months completely transformed my health. Not because I was gifted, not because I had perfect genetics, not because I found some secret workout, simply because I kept showing up, even when I didn't feel motivated, even when progress felt invisible, even when nobody else noticed. That's what consistency really looks like. It's not exciting, it's not glamorous, it's doing the boring things, over and over again, until one day, you look back and realize you've become someone completely different. So if you're watching this today, and you've been waiting for the perfect time to start, this is your sign. Don't wait until your body forces you to change. Don't wait until your health becomes a problem. Start now, even if it's just a walk, even if it's only 10 minutes, even if it's 20 minutes, or like I did, just give yourself 45 minutes, because one small decision today can completely change the next decade of your life. You don't have to become amazing overnight. You just have to become a little better than yesterday, every single day. And one more thing, please don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Everyone starts somewhere. The only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. If I could go from struggling to run for 10 minutes to lowering my resting heart rate from 91 to 61, imagine what you could achieve if you simply refused to quit. Thank you so much for watching. If this message hit your core and woke you up, make sure to support the channel. Subscribe right now. It truly helps me continue creating videos like this. If you found value in today's video, hit that like button. Share this video with someone you care about, because it might inspire them to take that first step toward a healthier life. I'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Have you ever checked your resting heart rate? What was your number? Or, if today is the day you're deciding to start your fitness journey, comment, Day 1. I'll be reading the comments, and I'd love to follow your journey. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a single deep dive. And if you'd like to connect with me outside YouTube, you can find me on all my social platforms. Thank you for being part of this community. It genuinely means more than you know. Take care of your body, take care of your mind, and most importantly, take care of your heart, because your future isn't built in one extraordinary day. It's built by thousands of ordinary decisions, made consistently. Keep showing up, keep improving, keep believing in yourself, and remember, the strongest heart isn't always the one that beats the fastest. It's the one that's been trained with patience, consistency, and discipline. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.